Oxygen is needed by humans to burn the sugar in our cell, which gives us energy to work. It is brought into the lungs via breathing, where it is transported by blood to the entire body and is used to produce energy. Our blood contains plasma and an iron-containing protein called hemoglobin. They facilitate oxygen transportation around the body. The percentage of total hemoglobin that is bound to oxygen at a given time is called the oxygen saturation, which when measured by pulse oximeter is referred to as SpO2. Usual oxygen saturation value ranges from 94 to 98%. 90 to 94% is considered as low oxygen saturation value or hypoxia. Values under 90% could quickly lead to serious health problems, and values under 70% are life-threatening. Now, what leads to lower oxygen saturation value? Decreased oxygen saturation may result from a lower concentration of hemoglobin, such as in iron deficiency anemia. Low oxygen level can also occur in lung conditions such as asthma, emphysema, bronchitis, or pneumonia, such as in COVID-19 patients. Pneumonia, which is common in COVID patient, is a lung infection that causes inflammation in the tiny air sac inside your lungs. They may fill up with so much of fluid and pus that it is hard to breathe and thus reduce the oxygen saturation level in blood. A chest CT scan may show patchy areas of damage in both your lungs, and it is called as ground glass appearance. Low blood oxygen level causes symptoms like shortness of breath, rapid heartbeat, lack of coordination, headache, restlessness, dizziness, rapid breathing, chest pain, confusion, increased BP, visual disorders, sense of euphoria, wheezing, and bluish discoloration of skin, nail, and lips. Now, what is happy hypoxia or silent hypoxia? Patients suffering from happy hypoxia are able to walk and talk with ease. Their blood pressure and pulse reading also come in normal range, even though their oxygen level might have dipped well below 80% in most cases. Symptoms does not manifest until it's already too late. It's dangerous as oxygen level had been dropped to 20 to 30%, and it has been one of the main cause of death among coronavirus patients. So it's very important to monitor oxygen saturation regularly. One can look out for symptoms such as discoloration of skin and lips and unnecessary profuse sweating to identify happy hypoxia. Now, what are the ways to increase oxygen saturation level? Number 1. Change the diet. Coronavirus or not, oxygen is extremely important for us. Nutrition plays a central role in determining your health, including maintaining oxygen level in your body. Eat more iron-rich food that will increase the hemoglobin level in blood. Eat red meat, pork, poultry, liver, organ meat, beans, dark green leafy vegetables such as spinach, dried fruits such as raisin and apricot, iron-fortified cereals, apples, bananas, and pomegranates. If you are in a special diet by your doctor, consult your doctor before any change in diet. You can also eat food rich in antioxidant that may protect your cell against free radicals and reduce the risk of multiple diseases including heart and lung disease. Carrot, garlic, turmeric, and dates have high antioxidant content. Garlics have antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral properties too. You can consume 2 to 3 garlic buds on an empty stomach every morning. It strengthens your lung immunity. When your lungs are breathing more easily, you will have improved oxygen level. You can also have lemons as they can soothe cough, cold, and flu and other ailments and can be helpful in increasing your body immunity. Number 2. Cleans the indoor air. Keep your house clean, keep your sheets and clothes clean. Invest in air purifier, let the fresh air in, keep the house ventilated. Number 3. Keep yourself hydrated. Drinking enough water will help you stay hydrated. When you are hydrated, it's easier for your blood to deliver nutrients and oxygen to the rest of your body. Concentrate on the way you breathe. Do breathing exercises. Some exercises that can be done at home includes Makarasana, equal breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, Kumbhaka Pranayam, Kapalbhati, and balloon breathing exercise. Makarasana. Lie on your stomach, bend your right leg creating a 45-degree angle with your thigh and calf. Allow your left leg to lie straight behind you. Place your left cheek on your mat and gaze to the right. Place your hands underneath your left cheek creating a pillow. Rest in this pose for up to 15 minutes and breathe deeply. Makarasana offers deep relaxation for your shoulder and spine. It can cure asthma, knee and any lung related issues. Variation of Makarasana. Pose as lying prone with both legs stretched out. The head is caught in the arm and the pose is said to increase bodily heat. This can also be termed as proning. While proning, weight of the liver is lifted off from the lung, which allows lung to expand more easily and hence inhale more air. Equal breathing. Shut your eyes and pay attention to the way you normally breathe for several breaths. Then slowly count 1, 2, 3 and 4 as you inhale through your nose. Exhale for the same 4-second count. As you inhale and exhale, be mindful of the feelings of fullness and emptiness in your lung. Benefits are the respiratory, the cardiovascular, the autonomic fall into the rhythm when we breathe equally. It relaxes the central nervous system, improves focus and concentration, establish a rhythm for your practice. It also quietens the mind, helps you assess your full breathing capacity. Next is diaphragmatic breathing. Relax your shoulders and sit back or lie down. Place one hand on your belly and one on your chest. Inhale through your nose for 2 seconds, feeling the air move into your abdomen and feeling your stomach move out. Now breathe out for 2 seconds through pursed lip while pressing on your abdomen. It lowers your heart rate, helps lower your blood pressure, helps you cope with symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. It improves your core muscle stability, improves your chance of injuring or wearing out your muscles, and it slows your rate of breathing so that it expands less energy. Next is Kumbhaka Pranayam. It increases your lung capacity. It involves taking a deep breath and holding it in for as long as possible without straining before slowly exhaling. It is also known to strengthen the diaphragm and is linked to a healthier, cleaner respiratory system. In this exercise, the increase in carbon dioxide level due to retention activates the respiratory center in brain, leading to greater interchange of oxygen. Better oxygen improves health and concentration. Next is Kapalbhati. It is a part of Kriya Pranayam where one forcefully exhales rapidly in short bursts. Practitioners claim that it can help in cleaning lung and in exercising the abdominal muscles. Higher rate of respiratory muscle activity helps strengthening of the respiratory muscles and results in improvement of pulmonary function. Next is balloon breathing exercise. It is good for improving lung capacity. Blowing up a balloon can do wonders for your lungs. This lung exercise assists patients by allowing the lungs to expand with enough oxygen to meet the body's need. Blowing a balloon is an exercise you can do in your own home to improve your lung capacity. When we overthink and take stress, oxygen consumption increases in our brain, which can also lead to low blood oxygen saturation level. So try to shift your focus from the illness and meditate to let go of the stress.